The security guard's grip tightened on the little girl's arm. I said, "What are you doing here? This floor is restricted after hours." Jian tried to pull away, tears streaming down her face. "Please, I was just... Kids aren't allowed in this building. I'm calling the police." The guard reached for his radio. "Let go of her." The voice cut through the hallway like a blade. Cold. Absolute. Dangerous. The security guard froze. He knew that voice. Every person in this building knew that voice. It belonged to Kang Min-ho, the man who owned not just this tower, but half of Seoul's underworld. Min-ho stood at the end of the corridor, his expensive suit perfect despite the late hour. His dark eyes locked onto the guard's hand, still gripping the child's arm. I said, "Let go." The guard released Jian immediately, his face going pale. "Mr. Kang, I didn't know you were still here. I found this kid hiding behind the cleaning cart. I was just... Get out." The guard practically ran toward the elevator. Min-ho approached the little girl slowly. She pressed herself against the wall, shaking. At 9 years old, she knew exactly who Kang Min-ho was. Everyone in Seoul knew. The newspapers called him a corporate titan. The streets whispered a different truth. "Please don't fire my mom," Jian whispered, her voice breaking. "Please. She didn't know I came. Just please don't take away our only money." Those words hit Min-ho like bullets. He stopped and really looked at this child. School uniform, wrinkled and worn, shoes with holes, backpack covered in faded cartoon characters, dark circles under her eyes, and behind her, that cleaning cart. The cart his invisible workers pushed through his marble empire while he counted millions. What happened next would change everything. Stay with me until the end, because what this mafia boss discovered will shock you. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. Now, let's get into it. Kang Min-ho had built his empire on one principle: fear equals respect. For 18 years, that formula worked perfectly. His name could silence boardrooms and empty restaurants. Politicians returned his calls. Rival organizations knew better than to test him. At 53, Min-ho controlled an empire worth 2 trillion won. On paper, he ran legitimate businesses: import-export companies, real estate holdings, investment firms. Underneath, he ran Seoul's most sophisticated criminal network. He had lost his wife to cancer 15 years ago. They'd never had children. After Sujin died, Min-ho sealed off whatever remained of his heart. Love was weakness. Attachment was vulnerability. Alone was safe. Tonight, he'd returned to his office after a business meeting ended badly. The associate had tried to skim money. Min-ho handled it the way he handled all betrayals. Swiftly, permanently, without emotion. He was reviewing security footage when he heard it, a whisper so desperate it almost disappeared into silence. "Please don't fire my mom." Now he stood in his hallway at 11:47 p.m., staring at a terrified child. "What's your name?" Min-ho asked quietly. The girl wiped her eyes. "Park Jun." "Why are you here, Jian?" "Because I heard my mom crying last night." Jian's story tumbled out between sobs. Her mother, Park Hee-jin, worked 2 jobs, cleaning this building at night, working a convenience store during the day. She slept 3 hours. Maybe 4 on good nights. Mom was looking at bills. Jian whispered, "Crying because we're 3 months behind on rent. She said if she loses this job, we lose our apartment. I know this building has cameras. I thought if someone saw me, they'd blame her." The logic twisted Min-ho's chest. This child had come to confess to a crime she didn't commit. "Where's your father?" Jian's face crumpled. "He died 2 years ago. Construction accident. The company said it wasn't their fault. They didn't pay us anything." Construction accident. No payout. Min-ho's jaw tightly how that worked. "What's your mother's name?" "Park Hye-jin. She's the best mom in the world." Min-ho pulled out his phone and typed quickly. Within seconds, he had Hye-jin's personnel file. Age 38. Employed 6 months. Performance rating, excellent. Hourly wage 12,000 won, barely 2 million won per month. This woman cleaned the offices where he made millions, and she couldn't afford rent. "Stay here," Min-ho told Jian. "Don't move." He pulled out his phone. "Choi, locate Park Hye-jin, cleaning crew 12th floor. Bring her to conference room 7. As he waited, Min-ho studied Jian. She'd stopped crying but still trembled. Brave little girl, walking 12 blocks through dangerous neighborhoods to protect her mother. Something ancient stirred in Min-ho's chest. Footsteps approached. Park Hee-jin appeared around the corner, her cleaning uniform wrinkled. Her face was pale with worry. Being summoned by the boss at midnight was never good. The moment she saw Jian, all color drained from her face. Jian! She dropped to her knees, hands moving over her daughter's face and arms. What are you doing here? I took the bus, Mom. I have a transit card. Hee-jin pulled Jian into a fierce hug. Then she turned to Min-ho and bowed deeply. Mr. Kang, I am so sorry. I had no idea she was here. Please, this is my fault. I'll accept any punishment, but please don't. Don't fire you, Min-ho finished. Your daughter already made that plea. Hee-jin's eyes filled with tears. Sir, I need this job. How much sleep do you get each night? The question confused her. I don't understand. Answer the question. Hee-jin swallowed hard. 3 hours. Maybe 4. When was the last time you ate a full meal? Her silence answered everything. Min-ho looked at this woman, really looked, thin to the point of frailty. Dark circles under her eyes, hands raw and cracked from chemicals. She was dying in his building, and he'd never noticed. When was the last time you took your daughter for ice cream? Hee-jin broke. Her composure shattered. She covered her face, shoulders shaking. Jian wrapped her arms around her mother. Come with me, Min-ho said quietly. Both of you. Min-ho led them to conference room 7. Sit. Hee-jin obeyed, still clutching Jian. She looked like a woman expecting execution. Min-ho pulled out his phone and made a call. Dr. Chen, I need a house call tomorrow morning. Full medical evaluation for a woman and child. Send the bill to my personal account. He hung up before the doctor could ask questions. Mr. Kang, Hee-jin whispered. I don't understand. Your file says you're paid 2.1 million won per month. Your rent is 800,000 won. You're 3 months behind, so you owe 2.4 million won. You also have approximately 15 million won in medical bills from your husband's accident. Hee-jin's face went white. How do you know? I know everything about my employees. What I didn't know until tonight was that I've been profiting from your suffering. He leaned forward. Tell me about your husband's death. Hee-jin's hands trembled. He was a construction worker. The scaffolding collapsed. 3 men died. The company said it was an act of God. We got nothing. What company? Jung Industrial. Min-ho's blood went cold. Jung Industrial was a subsidiary of one of his holding companies. Stay here, he said, standing abruptly. I need to make a phone call. Min-ho stepped into the hallway and dialed Lee Sang-woo. Min-ho, it's midnight. What's wrong? I need you to investigate Jung Industrial, construction division. Accident 2 years ago. 3 workers died. I want everything. Safety violations, cover-ups, everything. Why are you? Just get me the information. 2 hours. Min-ho returned to the conference room. Hee-jin and Jian sat close together, holding hands. Jian, Min-ho said gently, your mother needs to rest. Can you be brave a little longer? Jian nodded. Min-ho called his assistant. I need food delivered to conference room 7. Enough for 2 people. Good food. And bring blankets. Within 20 minutes, hot soup, rice, and side dishes arrived. Jian's eyes went wide. Eat, Min-ho said. Both of you. Hee-jin started to protest, but Jian was already reaching for the soup. The girl ate carefully, politely, but Min-ho could see the hunger beneath the manners. When was the last time this child had eaten until she was full? At 2:15 a.m., Min-ho's phone buzzed. Sang-woo's report had arrived. Min-ho stepped into the hallway to read it. Jung Industrial had violated 23 safety regulations. They'd used substandard materials. They'd rushed the timeline. When the scaffolding collapsed, killing 3 workers, they'd paid off inspectors. The families had been offered 5 million won each to stay quiet. When they refused, Jung Industrial tied them up in legal battles until they ran out of money. Park Hee-jin's husband had been one of those 3 men. Min-ho's hands shook as he read the names of the executives responsible. Park Jae-sung, CEO of Jung Industrial. Min-ho had profited from this. His holding company owned 40% of Jung Industrial. He walked back into the conference room. Hee-jin, I need to tell you something about your husband's death. Over the next 20 minutes, he explained everything. The safety violations, the cover-up, the executives who'd chosen profit over lives. He showed her the report. They killed him, she whispered. They knew the scaffolding was unsafe. Yes. And they covered it up. Yes. Hee-jin looked up with tears streaming. Why are you telling me this? I want to make it right, Min-ho said. Jung Industrial is part of my business empire. I didn't know about the violations, but that doesn't change that I profited from your husband's death. He pulled out a folder. Settlement offer, 500 million won. Full transparency, criminal charges against every executive involved. Hae-jin stared at the number. I don't understand, she whispered. Why? Min-ho looked at Jian, now asleep. This brave little girl who'd risked everything. Because your daughter whispered, please don't fire my mom, and it reminded me I used to be human. Hae-jin covered her mouth, trying to hold back sobs. There's more, Min-ho continued. You're being promoted to building operations manager. Salary, 8 million won per month. Normal hours, weekends off, full medical benefits. That's impossible. I'm just a cleaner. You're organized, reliable, and you know this building. You start Monday at 9 a.m. Hae-jin shook her head in disbelief. I don't know what to say. Say yes and go home. My driver will take you. But Min-ho knew the real changes were just beginning. Tomorrow, he was going to war with his own company. Sunday morning, Min-ho called Kim Do-hyun, his enforcer. You said it was urgent, Do-hyun said. Min-ho slid the Jung Industrial report across the table. Read this. Do-hyun scanned the documents. These executives killed 3 workers and covered it up. Yes, and you want me to handle it? No, I want you to help me handle it personally. Do-hyun raised an eyebrow. You never get your hands dirty anymore. This is different. Why? Because one of those widows works in my building. Because her 9-year-old daughter begged me not to fire her mother. Because I've spent 18 years building an empire without asking what it costs in human suffering. Do-hyun studied his boss. What exactly are you planning? Jung Industrial's CEO is Park Jae-sung. He's 62, thinks he's untouchable. Tomorrow morning he's going to learn what happens when you kill someone's father. You're going to kill him? No, I'm going to destroy him. Completely. Publicly. Permanently. Do-hyun smiled slowly. What do you need? Monday morning, 9 a.m., Park Jae-sung arrived at Jung Industrial headquarters in his Mercedes. At 62, he was a man who'd built his fortune by cutting corners. He walked into his office. Coffee? The usual. His secretary looked nervous. Sir, there are men in your office. What men? They wouldn't give names. Jae-sung pushed open his door and found 3 men waiting. The third made his blood run cold. Kang Min-ho sat in Jae-sung's own chair. Mr. Kang, Jae-sung said, forcing a smile. This is unexpected. Sit down, Jae-sung. The tone made it clear this wasn't a request. Jae-sung sat in his own guest chair. The 2 men Min-ho brought positioned themselves at the door. Do you remember Park Tae-soo? Min-ho asked. The name meant nothing at first. The construction worker? From the scaffolding collapse? Yes. Tell me what happened that day. Jae-sung's mind raced. It was tragic, an act of God. We did everything. Don't lie to me. Min-ho's voice cut like a blade. I have the real investigation, all 23 safety violations, the substandard materials, the paid-off inspectors, everything. Jae-sung's face went pale. Mr. Kang, I don't know what you've been told. Park Tae-soo left behind a wife and 9-year-old daughter. The wife now works cleaning floors in my building for poverty wages. The daughter wears shoes with holes. They're drowning in medical debt you should have paid. That's unfortunate. But the courts were manipulated by lawyers you hired. Min-ho stood slowly. You killed 3 men because you wanted to save money. You orphaned children. You destroyed families. Jae-sung tried to stand, but Do-hyun's hand on his shoulder pushed him back down. Here's what's going to happen. Min-ho continued. You're going to resign immediately. You're going to surrender all assets to pay full settlements, and you're going to confess publicly. Jae-sung forced a laugh. You can't make me do that. I have connections. Lawyers. Min-ho pulled out his phone and pressed play. The screen showed Jae-sung 2 years ago, talking to his safety inspector. I don't care if the scaffolding meets code. It's too expensive. Use cheaper materials and pay off the inspector. Jae-sung's blood turned to ice. I have 17 more recordings like this, Min-ho said calmly. Conversations where you ordered safety violations. Emails where you instructed your team to falsify reports. Bank records showing payments to corrupt inspectors. He leaned close. I own you now. Every crime, every cover-up, all documented. Jae-sung's hands shook. What do you want? Resignation, full settlements, public confession. That will destroy me. I'll lose everything. You should have thought of that before you killed Park Jae-sun's father. The name hit Jae-sung. Who? Park Ji-yeon. 9 years old. She came to my office Friday night and begged me not to fire her mother. She said, please don't take away our only money. That little girl was terrified. Because you chose profit over her father's life. Min-ho straightened. So yes, I'm going to destroy you, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows why. Jason tried one last play. We can work something out. I have money, information. Do-hyun stepped forward. Boss, should I explain what happens if he doesn't cooperate? Min-ho held up a hand. That won't be necessary. He looked at Jae-sung with cold contempt. You have 24 hours to announce your resignation and release a full confession. If you don't, I release everything to every media outlet in Seoul. Your face will be on every news channel. And if I do what you want, then maybe I'll let you keep enough money to afford a decent lawyer. Min-ho walked to the door, then turned back. One more thing. Tomorrow morning, you're going to personally deliver settlement checks to the 3 families. You're going to look them in the eye and apologize. He nodded to Do-hyun. Make sure he understands. As Min-ho left, Do-hyun stayed behind. The enforcer cracked his knuckles and smiled at Jae-sung. Let me explain how this works, Do-hyun said pleasantly. You're going to do exactly what Mr. Kang said. And if you even think about running or calling your lawyer friends, well, let's just say Mr. Kang is being generous right now. Me, I'm not as forgiving. Jae-sung slumped in his chair, defeated. The next morning, Park Jae-sung appeared at a press conference, looking like he'd aged 10 years. With shaking hands, he confessed to everything. The safety violations, the cover-up, the 3 men who died because he'd chosen profit over safety. The media exploded. Within hours, prosecutors opened a criminal investigation. Jung Industrial's stock price collapsed. Shareholders filed lawsuits. Everything Jae-sung had built came crashing down. In a small apartment in Songnam, Park Hae-jin watched the press conference with tears streaming. Is that the man who hurt Daddy? Ji-yeon asked quietly. Yes, baby, that's him. And Mr. Kang made him tell the truth? Hae-jin pulled her daughter close. Yes, Mr. Kang made sure Daddy got justice. That same morning, Min-ho sat in his office watching the press conference. His phone buzzed constantly. Executives, shareholders, business associates. He ignored them all. Instead, he called Hae-jin. Did you see it? Yes. Her voice was thick with tears. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me. I should have caught this years ago. The settlement money, it's too much. Your husband deserved to come home to his family. Ji-yeon deserved to grow up with her father. The money doesn't fix that, but it's what I can give you. Hae-jin was quiet. Ji-yeon wants to thank you. She made you something. I'll be there this afternoon. After hanging up, Min-ho turned to find his executive team in his doorway. They looked nervous. You destroyed one of our subsidiary companies, his CFO said. Jung Industrial stock price is in free fall. We're going to lose billions. Good, Min-ho replied. Good. I said good. Min-ho stood. Jung Industrial made its money by killing workers. I don't want profits built on corpses. But sir, the shareholders can sell if they don't like it. Effective immediately, every company under our umbrella will undergo a complete safety audit. Any executive covering up violations will be fired and prosecuted. The CFO's face went red. That's going to cost. I don't care. The room fell silent. Min-ho's executives stared at him like he'd grown a second head. Is there something you want to tell us? His CFO asked. Yes, Min-ho said. I remembered what it's like to be human. He dismissed them and spent the rest of the day implementing changes that would transform his organization. Safety protocols tripled, worker benefits expanded, wages increased. That afternoon, he drove to Songnam. Hae-jin and Ji-yeon lived in a small, one-room apartment above a convenience store. Ji-yeon answered his knock, her face lighting up. Mr. Kang, you came. I said I would. She pulled him inside. The apartment was tiny. One room serving as bedroom, living room, and kitchen. But it was neat, organized, loved. Hae-jin stood from the small table. Thank you for coming. I made tea. They sat together, and somehow it felt more comfortable than Min-ho's penthouse ever had. Ji-yeon pulled out a piece of paper covered in crayon drawings. I made this for you, she said shyly. The drawing showed 3 stick figures holding hands. A tall figure in a suit, a medium figure, a small figure. Above them, our family. Min-ho stared at the paper, something cracking in his chest. This child had included him in her family. Jian, he said quietly, I'm not your family. But you saved us, Jian said simply. Mom says you're like a guardian angel. You fought for Daddy when no one else would. Min-ho felt tears threaten. Your mother saved you. She worked 2 jobs, sacrificed everything. I just stopped being blind. Can I tell you a secret? Jian whispered. Of course. I prayed for help. Every night for 2 years, and then you came, so I think maybe God sent you. Min-ho looked at Haijin, crying quietly. He looked at Jian, watching him with trust. He looked at this tiny apartment where love existed. Jian, he said carefully, what if I told you I want to be part of your family? Really part of it? The girl's eyes went wide. Really? Really? But it's a big decision. It would mean changes for all of us. Haijin's hand flew to her mouth. Mr. Kang, what are you saying? Min-ho took a deep breath. I'm saying I want to legally adopt Jian. With your permission, Haijin. I want to give her my name, my protection, my resources. I want to make sure she grows up safe. Haijin stared in shock. You want to, but you barely know us. I know enough. I know Jian was brave enough to walk 12 blocks to protect you. I know you worked yourself to exhaustion to give her a better life. He pulled out a folder. I've had my lawyers draw up the papers, full legal adoption. Jian becomes Park Kung-jian. She keeps your name but adds mine. She becomes my legal heir. This is crazy, Haijin whispered. We're just regular people. My world is cold and empty. Your world has love. I'm the one who doesn't belong. Jian launched herself at him, wrapping her arms around his neck. Yes, yes, I want you to be my family. Min-ho held the girl, tears finally breaking free. For the first time in 15 years, he was crying. But these weren't tears of grief. They were tears of coming home. Haijin joined the embrace, the 3 of them holding each other. There's one condition, Min-ho said. You move out of this apartment, both of you. I have a house in Somnam, 3 bedrooms, a yard, a real kitchen. It's yours. Mr. Kang, we can't. You're not accepting charity. If I'm adopting Jian, we need space. This isn't negotiable. Haijin laughed through tears. You're very bossy. I'm a mafia boss. It comes with the territory. Jian giggled. Does this mean I should call you Appa? The word hit Min-ho like lightning. Appa. Dad. If you want to, he managed. Then I want to. Appa Min-ho. Over the next week, Min-ho's world transformed. The adoption papers were filed. Haijin and Jian moved into the Sumnam house. Min-ho found himself doing things he'd never imagined. Helping with homework, learning to cook, attending school events. His executives whispered he'd gone soft. His rivals tested his resolve. They learned quickly that compassion and ruthlessness could coexist. Min-ho was still dangerous, more so now that he had something to protect. 3 weeks after the adoption was finalized, Min-ho stood in family court beside Jian and Haijin. The judge reviewed the papers with a smile. Mr. Kang, do you understand the responsibilities of adoption? I understand, Your Honor. And you, Jian, do you want Mr. Kang to adopt you? Jian stood straight, her voice clear. Yes, Your Honor. He's already my dad in my heart. This just makes it official. The judge's eyes grew misty. Then I declare this adoption legal and binding. Congratulations, Mr. Kang. You have a daughter. Min-ho picked Jian up and held her tight. I have a daughter, he whispered. That night, they celebrated at home with family dinner. Real home cooking, laughter, stories. The warmth Min-ho hadn't felt since Sujin died. As he tucked Jian into bed, she looked up with sleepy eyes. Appa? Yes, sweetheart. Thank you for fighting for our family, for making the bad man tell the truth about what he did to my first daddy. Min-ho kissed her forehead. You saved me, Jian. You reminded me what matters. What matters? Family, love, using power to protect instead of hurt. Jian smiled. You're a good Appa. I'm trying to be. After Jian fell asleep, Min-ho joined Haijin on the back porch. They sat watching stars appear over Somnam. Your executives must think you've lost your mind, Haijin said quietly. Probably, but I've never been more clear-headed. The other mafia families, won't they see this as weakness? Min-ho smiled coldly. Let them try. They'll learn that a man with a family to protect is far more dangerous than a man with nothing to lose. Haijin reached for his hand. Thank you for giving us this life. Thank you for letting me be part of your family. 6 months after the adoption, Min-ho's transformation was complete. He'd restructured his empire. The criminal elements were being dismantled and replaced with legitimate operations. The safety reforms had saved 17 lives. Workers across his companies had better wages, better conditions, better futures. Park Jae-sun was awaiting trial, denied bail. 2 other executives had also been charged. The 3 families who'd lost loved ones had received full settlements. But the real changes were personal. Min-ho attended every school event, every parent-teacher conference. He learned to braid hair, though his attempts made Ji-en giggle. He discovered he enjoyed cooking Sunday dinners. His penthouse sat empty. He lived in Songnam now, in a house filled with laughter and homework. One evening, Ji-en came home from school upset. Min-ho found her crying into her pillow. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" "Some kids said mean things. They said you're only my dad because you feel guilty. They said you'll get bored and leave." Min-ho sat beside her. "Look at me, Ji-en." She turned, eyes red. "I chose you," he said firmly. "Not out of guilt. I chose you because you reminded me what it means to love someone more than yourself." "But what if you change your mind?" Min-ho pulled out his wallet and showed her the crayon drawing she'd made. He'd had it professionally preserved. "I carry this everywhere," he said. "When I'm in difficult meetings, I look at this and remember what matters. You're not just my daughter legally. You're my daughter in every way that counts." "Really?" "Really, and anyone who says otherwise can answer to me personally." His voice carried the edge that made business rivals nervous. Ji-en giggled through tears. "Appa, you can't threaten elementary school kids." "Watch me." They laughed together, the tension breaking. That weekend, Min-ho organized a family trip to the beach. Ji-en played in the waves while Haejin and Min-ho watched from shore. "She's happy," Haejin observed. "Really happy. I haven't seen her like this since before Tae-soo died. She deserves to be happy. So do you." Min-ho turned to look at Haejin. Over the months, their relationship had deepened. They were co-parenting Ji-en. They shared dinners and conversations, but neither had spoken about what was growing between them. "Haejin," Min-ho said carefully, "I need to tell you something." "What is it?" "I care about you. Not just as Ji-eun's mother. As a woman I admire and respect. As someone I look forward to seeing every day." Haejin's breath caught. "Min-ho, I'm not asking for anything," he continued. "I know you're still grieving Tae-soo. I know this is complicated. I just wanted you to know." Haejin was quiet, then she reached for his hand. "I care about you too. I have for months, but I've been afraid to say it. Tae-soo will always be Ji-en's first father. He'll always be the man I married. But he's gone. And you're here. You've given us a life I never dreamed possible." She squeezed his hand. "So yes, I care about you more than I probably should. Then maybe we could try? See where this goes?" "I'd like that." 1 year after that night in the hallway, Min-ho stood at a podium addressing Seoul's business community. 18 months ago, he began, I believed success meant profit above everything. I measured my worth in one and territory and fear. The room was silent. Then I met a 9-year-old girl who changed everything. She taught me that real power isn't making people fear you. It's using your resources to protect people who can't protect themselves. He clicked to a slide showing worker safety statistics. Since implementing our reforms, workplace injuries have dropped 87%. Worker satisfaction is up 62%. Productivity increased 34%. Turns out, when you treat employees like human beings, everyone benefits. "But sir," an executive called out, "didn't these changes cost billions?" "Yes, and it was worth every one, because I can look my daughter in the eye and tell her our companies don't build success on broken families anymore." After the speech, Min-ho was surrounded. Some praised his courage. Others whispered he'd betrayed their class. Min-ho didn't care. He drove home to Songnam, where Ji-en was waiting with a new crayon drawing. This one showed their house and a banner. "World's best appa." "How was your speech?" Haejin asked, kissing him hello. They'd been officially dating for 6 months. "Taking it slow. Building something real." "Fine, but this is better." He gestured to their home, warm and full of life. That evening, as they sat down to dinner, Ji-en made an announcement. "Appa, I've decided what I want to be when I grow up." "What's that, sweetheart?" "A lawyer. But not the kind who helps bad people, the kind who helps regular people fight big companies. Like you helped us fight Jung Industrial." Min-ho felt pride swell. "That's a wonderful dream. And I want to use our family name. Park Kang-jin, attorney at law. I want everyone to know I'm your daughter and mom's daughter. Both families." Haejin's eyes filled with tears. Your father would be so proud. Both my fathers, Jian corrected. My first daddy who loved me, and my appa who saved us. After dinner, Min-ho received a call from Do-hyun. Boss, we have a situation. The Busan organization is testing our territory. They think the reforms made you weak. Min-ho's voice went cold. Tell them I'll meet with their leadership tomorrow. Boss, that's dangerous. Let them come. I'll remind them that protecting my family makes me more dangerous, not less. The next day, Min-ho met with the Busan organization's leader, Kim Sok-jin, in a neutral location. I heard you've gone soft, Kang, Sok-jin said mockingly. Playing house, adopting orphans. Min-ho's expression never changed. You heard wrong. Then prove it. Surrender your southern territories. Min-ho leaned forward slowly. You made a mistake coming here, Kim. You confused compassion with weakness. He pulled out his phone and showed Sok-jin a photo. At her school play. This is my daughter. She's 10 years old. She wants to be a lawyer who helps people fight corruption. Min-ho's eyes went arctic. And if you or anyone from your organization threatens my family, I will unleash violence that will make your predecessors look merciful. I've spent 18 years perfecting how to destroy people. The only thing that's changed is now I have something worth killing for. Seok-jin's bravado faltered. I've reformed my business practices, Min-ho continued. I'm building legitimate operations. But make no mistake, I still know how to bury bodies. The difference is now I only do it to protect my family. He stood. So here's what's happening. You're going to withdraw from my territories. You're going to spread the word that anyone who threatens the Kang family answers to me personally. And if I refuse? Do-hyun stepped from the shadows. He laid a folder on the table. This contains evidence of every illegal operation you run. Mr. Kang was willing to let your organization exist, but the moment you threatened his family, he had us compile everything. Sok-jin opened the folder, his face going pale. One call, Min-ho said quietly, and this goes to every prosecutor in Seoul, all because you thought I'd gone soft. Sok-jin closed the folder with shaking hands. I didn't mean any disrespect. Yes, you did, but I'm going to give you a chance. Walk away, stay in Busan. Don't test me again. After Sok-jin left, Do-hyun smiled. I think he got the message. Good, let everyone know, I've changed, but I'm still dangerous. Word spread through Seoul's underworld quickly. Kang Min-ho had transformed his empire, but he was still someone you didn't cross. That evening, Min-ho returned home to find Jian doing homework. She looked up and smiled. Appa? Can you help me with math? He sat beside his daughter, helping her work through problems and marveled at the beautiful ordinariness of it. Later, after Jian went to bed, Hye-jin joined Min-ho on the porch. Do-hyun called. He said you handled the Busan situation. It's resolved. He also said you scared their leader badly. Min-ho smiled slightly. I simply explained the consequences of threatening our family. Hye-jin took his hand. You're a complicated man, Kang Min-ho, terrifying and gentle. Is that a problem? No, it's why I'm falling in love with you. The words hung in the air. Min-ho turned to face her fully. I love you too, he said. I have for months, I was just afraid to say it. It is too fast, it is complicated, but it's also real. Hye-jin smiled. Tae-soo would have liked you, I think. He always said the mark of a good man is how he treats people weaker than himself. I'm no saint, Hye-jin. I've done terrible things. I know, but you're trying to be better. You're using your power to protect instead of hurt, that's what matters. They kissed under the stars. Inside, Jian peeked through her bedroom window and grinned. Her family was complete. 2 years after that night in the hallway, the Kang family had grown stronger. Min-ho had successfully transitioned most operations to legitimate businesses. Jian thrived in school, top of her class, captain of the debate team, already talking about law school at 11. Hye-jin had become Min-ho's partner in every sense. They married in a small ceremony with Jian as flower girl. On their wedding day, Min-ho stood with Hye-jin in front of a simple altar. I never thought I'd marry again, Min-ho said during his vows. After Soo-jin died, I was certain that part was over. But then a brave little girl whispered, please don't fire my mom. And everything changed. He looked at Jian. You taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about choosing to love someone so completely that their happiness becomes more important than your survival. Then he turned to Hye-jin. You taught me that broken things can be repaired, that lonely people can find home again. I love you. I love our daughter. I love the life we've built. Hee-jin's vows were equally emotional. You saved us when we were drowning. You fought for justice when no one else would. You became the father Jian needed, and the partner I didn't know I was looking for. The ceremony ended with Jian joining them, the three holding hands, a family forged by choice. At the reception, Jian gave a speech that left everyone in tears. 2 years ago, I was hiding behind a cleaning cart, terrified. I whispered a prayer for help, and then Appa appeared like magic. She looked at Min-ho with pure love. He didn't just help us. He fought for us. He destroyed the people who hurt our family. He changed his entire life to make sure we'd be safe. People say he's scary, dangerous, and he is. But to me, he's just Appa, the man who checks my homework and comes to my school plays, the man who chose to love us even though he didn't have to. She raised her glass. To Appa, the world's best dad, and to Mom, the strongest person I know. I love you both. The room erupted in applause. Later, Do-hyun approached Min-ho. Boss, do you ever regret it? Everything you gave up? Min-ho looked across the room where Hae-jin and Ji-yeon were laughing. I didn't give up power, Do-hyun. I found it. Real power is being someone's hero, being someone's home. That's different from the man I started working for. Good. That man was hollow. He had everything money could buy, and nothing that mattered. Min-ho smiled. This man has a family, a purpose. And if someone threatens that family? Min-ho's smile turned cold. Then they learned that a man with everything to lose is far more dangerous than a man with nothing to protect. 3 years after the adoption, Jian stood in family court again, this time as a witness in the trial of Park Jae-sung. The prosecutor called her to the stand. Jian, can you tell the court how your father's death affected your family? Jian, now 12 and poised, spoke clearly. My first father, Park Tae-soo, was a good man. He worked hard, he loved my mom and me, he dreamed of opening a restaurant. She looked directly at Jae-sung. These men killed him because they wanted to save money. They knew the scaffolding was unsafe. They didn't care. After Daddy died, everything fell apart. Mom worked 2 jobs. We couldn't pay rent. I watched my mom cry herself to sleep. Her voice strengthened. But then we got justice. My appa, Kang Min-ho. He made sure these men couldn't hide anymore. He made them tell the truth. The money can't bring my first daddy back, but knowing these men will answer for their crimes gives our family peace. Jae-sung was convicted on all counts. 15-year prison sentence. His co-conspirators got similar terms. After the trial, reporters swarmed them. How does it feel to get justice? Min-ho stepped in front of his daughter protectively. No comment. Leave my family alone. But Jian tugged his sleeve. Appa, I want to say something. She turned to the cameras. I want other kids who lost parents to workplace accidents to know they're not alone. Don't give up. Justice might take time, but it's possible. The clip went viral. Jian became a symbol of resilience. Min-ho was fiercely protective, limiting her public appearances. You're still a child, he told her. You don't need to carry this burden. But I want to help people, Appa. Then help them by being happy, by living a good life, by becoming the lawyer you dream of being. That's how you honor your first father's memory. 5 years after that night in the hallway, the Kang family celebrated Ji-yeon's 15th birthday. She was tall now, beautiful, brilliant, top student, already receiving recruitment letters from universities. At her birthday dinner, Ji-yeon made an announcement. I've decided where I want to go to college. Seoul National University, pre-law program. I'm going to become the kind of lawyer who fights for workers and families. Min-ho felt tears prick his eyes. Your father, both your fathers, would be so proud. I know, because I'm making my first daddy's death mean something, and I'm honoring my appa, who taught me that power should protect, not destroy. That night after the party, Min-ho sat with Hee-jin on their porch. Do you remember that night? Hee-jin asked. When Jian whispered, please don't fire my mom? Every day. Did you ever imagine it would lead to this? To a family? To love? Min-ho smiled. No, I thought I'd walk past that cleaning cart, go to my empty penthouse, and continue being hollow. But Jian's whisper stopped me. It reminded me I was human. She saved you. She saved all of us. He pulled Hae-jin close. That night I had everything money could buy and nothing that mattered. Now I have everything that matters. They sat watching stars appear over Seoul. Inside, Jian was on the phone with friends, laughing. The sound of her joy was the most beautiful music Min-ho had ever heard. "Thank you," he whispered to Haejin. "For what?" "For letting a broken man into your family. For trusting me with your daughter. For believing I could be better than my past." "You were never broken, Min-ho. Just lost. We all were. We found each other." 10 years after that night, Jian graduated from law school at the top of her class. She stood at the podium delivering the valedictorian speech. 10 years ago, Jian began, I was a scared little girl hiding behind a cleaning cart. I whispered a desperate prayer for help, and it was answered by the most unlikely guardian angel. She looked directly at Min-ho. My father taught me that real strength isn't making people fear you. It's using your power to lift up people who can't protect themselves. Today, I begin my career as an attorney. I'll fight for workers, for families, for people the system has failed. And I'll do it carrying two names with pride. Park, for my first father who loved me. Kang, for the father who chose to save me. To everyone watching, never underestimate what one voice can do. One whisper can change everything. One person choosing courage can transform empires. The audience erupted in applause. Min-ho stood, tears streaming, applauding his daughter. After the ceremony, Jian ran to her parents. Min-ho lifted her off the ground, spinning her around. I'm so proud of you, he said. I learned from the best, Appa. As they walked out together, Min-ho, Haejin, and Jian, reporters snapped photos. The headlines would read, From Mafia Boss to Father, the Redemption of Kang Min-ho. But Min-ho didn't care about headlines. He cared about the little girl, now a woman, who held his hand. The wife who'd given him a second chance. The family he'd found in the most unlikely place. Sometimes the smallest whispers create the loudest transformations. Sometimes the most broken people can be healed by the purest love. Sometimes a mafia boss can become a father. And sometimes saving someone else is really about saving yourself. Please don't fire my mom. 11 words that changed everything. 11 words that proved even the hardest heart can choose love over fear. 11 words that built a family from broken pieces and created something beautiful from ashes. This is the power of choosing compassion. The power of one brave child. The power of a man who remembered what it meant to be human. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to remember that redemption is always possible, and that sometimes the most unlikely people become our greatest heroes. Remember, you never know when a small act of courage might change someone's entire world.